Hi everyone, delonewolf here, and welcome to EVE Talk, your weekly look at the markets in EVE Online. Now, before I actually get started, last week no live streams to report, and actually the content has been rather short and easy to make. So it's just because I'm extremely busy. I know it's August, and yeah, you wouldn't expect work to be super busy, but it's actually the case. A lot of my colleagues are on vacation. Unfortunately, they don't take their jobs with them. So that means that the workload actually increases for everyone that remains. And yeah, we just have to do a lot more with fewer people, and so it means that I've been extremely busy. On top of that, I'm not making excuses, but stuff does happen in real life as well, and my grandmother had to go to the hospital for a few days. So obviously that takes precedence then over gaming and streaming, so I had to go visit her a few times, bring her everything she needed. Luckily, she's doing a lot better already. But yeah, stuff like that, it happens as well. And it happened to me last week, which meant that I really had little energy to put into the channel at that point, together with the hectic weeks at work. Just been a bad time to do a lot of videos, and I know that it showed a little bit in the content, but I tried my best to still keep it at a video a day. That is a commitment I've made to myself rather than to you guys, and it's really what I'm trying to do as much as possible. Anyways, that's enough with the excuses. In next week I still have to go to work, then I have 2 weeks of vacations, so then it should be a lot better, and I should be able to bring you guys some nice content. There is also, if I'm not mistaken, Final Fantasy 14 A Realm Reborn open beta for a few days, so I might check that out. But yeah, I'm just giving you guys a quick heads up as to why the content has not been what it's usually. Anyways, we are here for the market. If you have any questions, comments, anything that you want me to check on the market, feel free to post it. Keep in mind there is probably around a 30-35 second delay on my stream on YouTube. So it might just take a little bit of time for me to notice your comments. Anyways, back to the market, and as usual we'll check with the minerals. Let's see if the dropping has stopped for the high-end, the low-end minerals, the high-sec minerals. So on titanium, bad chart again, 500,000 for a data point. I'm not sure how people do it or why this keeps showing up. But let's have a look at the prices in Jita Station then. Are they, well, 497, 492 for the buyers. So it's trying to get back towards 5 ISK. So I would say that titanium is not dropping, or has not dropped over the last week. Next up we have pyrite. Where is that? Here we go. Let's have a look at the chart. That should be better. Yep, there you go. I think you can see this 3-month chart that the 5-day moving average is moving back up a little bit, and now moving in sync with the 20-day moving average. So I do think we're looking at the bottom for pyrite. Current prices in Jita Station, did they go back? 1239 and 1207. So I think that's pretty much where it was last week, maybe a bit higher even. Let's hope it can break 1250 soon. But it does look like the downtrend has stopped for pyrite as well. And the final one is Mexalon, where I am hoping that we might see a change in the drop, which it's been doing for since January, pretty much since the beginning of the year, as you can see, coming from 60 ISK, dropping towards 35. But right there at the tail end, very good news. 5-day moving average went back up, broke the 20-day moving average. And so it does look like we have finally reached the bottom, and that it won't really break 36 ISK anymore. And what are the prices looking like in station? 37.37 and 37.08. So I think it's actually up a little bit from last week for Mexalon. So good news for the miners. I think especially the high-sec miners. We might finally see an end to the downtrend in the mineral market. Let's have a look then at the Isogen chart. That one is still trending down. The Zydrine still, well, this one is crossing. You can see right there the 5-day moving average is just about to cross 20-day moving average. So that one might just be looking at the bottom there as well. Noxium, similar, you know, it just reached the bottom here. Megasite, whoa. It tried right there, it tried to break the bottom, but now it's heading back down. So I'm a bit curious for the prices. 1885 for Megasites. Maybe a 1-year chart could give a good idea there. Yeah, it's actually trending towards all-time lows in the 1-year chart. So it's coming from 2.5 thousand and now it's 1.8, 1.9 thousand, but it's still trending down a little bit. So the high-end minerals are still hesitant to find their bottom, whereas pyrite, titanium and Mexalon clearly have found it. Let's see how that translates on the Tech 1 chips. Well, we see a similar move here for the Drake. Let's go for the 3-month chart here, where you can see that the 5-day moving average decided to rejoin the 20-day moving average. Now they are slowly continuing their downtrend though. That's a bit annoying. Let's have a quick look at prices in Getastation. 45 million for a Drake. Definitely low historically speaking. Look at the 1-year chart here. It's definitely been above 50 million for quite a while. So here it's the downtrend, but again we do see 5-day moving average coming together with 20-day moving average, so it might just be working at the bottom here as well. It's a little bit normal that the ships will actually lag behind the mineral market because there is a whole production chain causing a delay there. So let's have a look at the Maelstrom, a Tech 1 battleships. Very similar chart here, 5-day moving average breaking 20-day moving average. Actually still not ready to go back up, but we're definitely, yeah, I think we're looking at the bottom here for the Tech 1 market as well. Prices here, well, no, 183, so it tried to break 180, you can see that on the chart, but the market decided, no, that's as low as we go, and went right back up here. So we are looking at a bottom for high-sec minerals, for the low-end minerals. Some of the null-sec minerals are still a little bit hesitant, but the ships are also starting to build on the bottom, and maybe we might see the beginning of the uptrend later this summer. So I think that's pretty interesting. And for people that mine or produce Tech 1 stuff, this is of course good news, because their margins and their profits have been going down for, well, a few months now, and so we might finally be seeing an end to that. Next up, I'll have a quick look at the HACs and the command ships, which are two classes of ships that are going to get rebalanced in Odyssey patch 1.1. So they've known a lot of movement. Mainly what we've seen last week is that the HACs a lot of the HACs are getting a buff, so a lot of them have been up, but they seem to have stabilized, and especially the Galente command ships, they look like they're going to get a nice buff, and so those command ships, they might just be in a very volatile market with a large uptrend in the prices. So let's have a quick look at the heavy assault cruisers then. Just going to analyze the chart here for the Sacrilege. Wow, look at the 5-day moving average moving down from 200 million towards 150 in not a lot of time. So this was definitely due to the announced changes, but it looks like people are not going for the Sacrilege so much anymore. In fact, we're seeing 146 in station, where it went as high as 200 million. So that's a little bit surprising. Let's have a look at the Zilla chart. Pretty much the same here, from 160 down to 140. So it looks like here the market is already moving away from the HACs, and it might just be that a lot more money is now going from the HAC market into the command ship market, and that these are really traders that are trying to cash out on all the changes that are being announced. Here the Cerberus though, that one is keeping up at a price of 180, coming from 120. Although this is a longer term trend, at least it's not correcting as badly as the Amar HACs are doing. The Eagle a little bit more of a correction from 150 towards 130, but it feels a bit healthier, and just in general the price has been up a little bit compared to where it was before of the changes. Next up, the demos, that one is still going up, so people are definitely liking the extra mid slot for the demos. Heading towards 170 even, let's see, yeah, 165 for demos at the moment. And you could have picked them up at like 140, 145, something like that easily, just a month ago. So looking good. The Ishtar, that's not going to be pretty for people that want to buy Ishtars. Look at that, starting 3-month chart at 140, heading for 210 million. Prices in station 210 million for an Ishtar. It's definitely one of my favorite ships personally as well. Because it's extremely good for exploration at the moment, and I am seeing a first reaction, so let's have a quick look here. Show me. Nope, still not really getting anything. So yeah, the comment system on the YouTube live stream is not great either, but I will try and keep an eye on them, so hopefully I'll be able to see something here. All right. Did you look at the isotopes, especially the Caldari ones? Goon made an ice event maybe, and could spend a minute on it by the Sec Pro. Yep, it's also the only question I got through the mail in the last week. It's for the Caldari fuel blocks, so I will definitely take a look at that after I do the usual stuff. But for now, I'll finish off the hack market here, and then I'll take a quick look at command ships, and then we'll jump into the Caldari fuel blocks with the whole Goon interdiction. So they're trying to make some more money there as well. The Munin, it knew an general downtrend, so that one didn't change enough. People definitely not too excited about the changes in the Munin. And then the Vagabond, that is definitely, people are expecting a nice buff to the Vagabond. The uptrend is clear, and a new stable price at around 155, yeah, something like that. But coming from 135, so 20 million jump due to the changes announced by CCP Rise. Next up, quick look at command ships then. Command ships, let's see, the Absolution, that didn't move a lot last week, and it's still not moving, so I guess people are not too excited about that. Damnation, pretty much the same. The Nighthawk is up a little bit, 180 to 200, so we could see a buff, yeah, actually almost 210 here in Jita Station. So the Nighthawk, some money is being poured into that market. The Vulture as well, from 280 to 300. Wow, 302 million for a Vulture. That's a decently expensive ship already. And there is definitely also an uptick to be noticed here after the changes. I'll keep Galente for last here. Claymore, a little bit of an uptick, but it was already a very popular ship, I think, the Claymore. So that's not too drastic. And then the Sleipnir, definitely up by quite a bit, from 240 to 270, something like that. Current price in station 260, so it came back a little bit already as well. But the big movement we're going to probably see right there, the Astarte coming from 200 to 240, and it doesn't look like the uptrend is going to end. 225 currently in station. And then, oh, that's a wrong click there. The EOS, yeah, coming from 220, heading for 300. So just the scale on this chart is completely different from the Astarte, just because of how much this one has moved. The EOS becoming the first battle cruiser to be able to field 5 large drones. And yeah, definitely people are going to want that, and it's now 300 million, a very few sell orders, so obviously the whole speculation and expectation is right here in the EOS market. A lot of ISK has been dumped into it already, and people are looking at 300 million ISK for an EOS, which is pretty damn expensive considering it came from 220, so that's almost 100 million ISK, almost a third of the price increase for the EOS. That's quite a lot. But yeah, do keep in mind, it's going to be quite unique, you know, the first battle cruiser with 5 heavy drones. it's going to make it quite a useful ship as well. Maybe not just for a command ship, but for wormhole space and stuff like that as well. So pretty damn interesting. The Amarr one's not moving at all, so definitely people are not that excited about the Amarr ones. A bit of an upgrade for the Caldari, but the Galente with the EOS definitely take the cake at the moment with the changes that are expected in Odyssey 1.1. So next up, Caldari fuel blocks. I think that's indeed Caldari fuel. Could be interesting. So what's happened? I think it was last week that the Goon Swarm Federation decided it was time for another interdiction of ice mining, and this time they're targeting the Caldari ice belts in the hopes of manipulating the market and making a nice bit of profit, you know, if they've been stocking on those isotopes, on those ice products themselves, and producing fuel blocks, then just make an interdiction, cause the price to spike, and then dump all your stuff at a much higher price. And it looks like they're being successful this time around. You know, it started at 14,000 ISK for Caldari fuel blocks. Just look at this uptrend from 5-day moving average heading towards 18k. Let's see what it translates in JITA prices. Yeah, 18,000 ISK for Caldari fuel blocks, 4,000 more than its Galente counterpart, or what it's been just a few weeks ago. So this is definitely due to the interdiction. That's a pretty big movement, you know. 4,000 on a 14,000 price commodity is quite a lot. And then what we can of course try and have a quick look if I can find the blueprint. There you go. So these are now made with coolants, enriched uranium, mechanical parts, robotics and oxygen. That comes from planetary interaction. So normally we won't really see this uptrend being translated in these goods. Yeah, there you go. As you can see, actually it's a downtrend over the last 3 months for stuff like coolants. But we should see that in especially the nitrogen isotopes, which is the ice interdiction, which comes from the ice, and just by interdicting suicide ganking, basically people that are mining the Caldari ice products, you get this right there, going from 600 to 900, 30% increase in the price in nitrogen isotopes. Market data, and almost hitting 1000 ISK for this, coming from 600. So yeah, they're definitely being successful at the moment in their attempt to manipulate the Caldari fuel block and nitrogen isotope markets. In fact, almost a 40% increase in price here is quite a lot. And obviously keep in mind, you know, it's like a large alliance, thousands of people that have prepared for this. They've probably been stocking up on nitrogen isotopes hardcore over the last few weeks and months. And now they decide it's time to hit all the other people that are in this market, take out the competition, even if it costs them ships by suicide ganking. But they'll get a large profit out of it at the moment, I think, because that's a nice rise in the price here. Look at that. Maybe I can look at the other ice products. Liquid ozone, I think that one is actually common to most of them. Yeah, there you go. Liquid ozone is common to all the ice throughout the universe, so that doesn't move that much. And then heavy water, pretty much probably the same. Yeah, in fact, even it's been pretty stable throughout the whole thing. So there are 4 races: Amarr, Caldari, Galente and Minmatar. All of them have their own fuel blocks. But not all the ice products are unique to their ice. So heavy water, you know, they can also get that from Galente ice belts. It's just the isotopes, the nitrogen isotopes here, which are unique. And this is what's being manipulated mostly. And as a consequence to that, the Galente fuel blocks get manipulated as well. So that's some bad news if you have a Caldari POS. Probably very good news for the Goon Swarm Federation that is actively doing this. And as you can see, this is the movement that that one big alliance can bring to a market if they decide to bring their power to bear. 30% markup, something like that, 30 to 40% for the isotopes themselves, and 4,000 on a 14,000, that's maybe 20-25% markup in the fuel blocks themselves. And this definitely shows how the market is extremely important and intricate in EVE Online, and how it can all snowball into different segments. If this keeps up for a while, you'll see people start moving towards Galente, Minmatar and other bosses, which will increase their price, and then the demand for Galente fuel blocks could start to increase, which will increase their price again as well. But then the goons might decide, well, we've had our fun and our profits, so we'll let people mine again, and it will stabilize again. And so this entire market is in constant flux, which is of course unique to any other game, because there's actually 500,000 people participating in this. Really awesome. Very good suggestion as well, of course. Obviously, when a large alliance is manipulating a certain segment of the market, that always leads to nice charts, and if you were in the know, obviously nice profits as well. Very good. And it looks, they've tried this several times before, and I think one time they failed pretty hard with Galente fuel blocks. The first time they were extremely successful, and it looks like right now with the Caldari fuel blocks they are being very successful as well, because they're having a nice markup here on these prices. Very good stuff. Next up, I'll quickly jump into the tech tree market here with the melted nano ribbons. Do a quick check of the stream here as well. Well, not too many viewers, but it's great weather out, so that's normal. And I'm keeping the recording anyways for people to check it out later. Melted nano ribbons continuing their downtrend here, although 5-day moving average finding a bottom at 5.2 million. So have a quick look at the 1 year charts. Yeah, actually, if prices are 5.3, 5.2, that's heading towards a low. What are the buy orders looking like? 5.2. So that's still. I would say this is where the price is on average over the year. Very volatile market though. If you can pick some up below 5 million, I think you've got a good investment on hand. This might be the time to start placing a couple of buy orders if you're interested in the melted nano ribbons as an ability to make some money in trading. I think it's starting to head there. It's going to be difficult to say if the downtrend will continue, because the 5-day moving average doesn't seem to want to break 5.2 million. If that had kept going down towards 5 million, I'd say wait a little bit. But at this point, you might want to put up some buy orders and then wait for the uptrend again towards 6 million, which it seems to hit at least a few times in a year. So there could be a trading opportunity here. Of course, melted nano ribbons, tech tree stuff. Pretty low. Let's have a look what the tech tree ships are actually doing. Are these starting to recover? The 1 year chart is always pretty interesting for these, because of all the nerfs that have normally been incoming for these ships. So Tengu starting at 215. It's trying to claw back, but really the new price band 175 to 180. Maybe to 190 if you want to look at it a little bit more broadly, but yeah, definitely still extremely low for tech tree ships. Not the time to sell, I think. This low-key spike was due to the war, but here again 170, 180 started at 210. So extremely low prices, extremely low demand for tech tree ships at the moment. I would not like to be in the production part of tech tree ships at the moment. Unless you're on a very long horizon where you can stock up, wait for tech tree rebalancing and hope that it's good stuff, and that you'll then be able to make a lot of money out of it. But just a bit too risky for me to invest any ISK in it at the moment. So that's not looking too good. We really need CCP to start telling us what they decide to do with the tech tree ships. Before I think we'll see a turnaround for these markets. That's my personal opinion, of course. All of this is a personal opinion and analysis, but it's really not looking too hot at the moment. So next up, anything else I have in here? An Omen is a personal ship that I'm somewhat interested in, because I have now a 100 what's it called, material research BPO finished for the Omen. So I should be able to produce these with a decent markup, with very few resources. On on the year, it's actually pretty high. Look at that, coming from below 8, 7.5, I would say, to 10 million. So this is probably due to the normal cruiser rebalancing that happened with, I think, the launch of Odyssey. So this could be a good market. It could be a good time for me to produce some omens. I'd need to calculate the actual margin that I have on it. It might be an interesting exercise for a separate video, now that I have finally finished a perfect omen BPO. I mean, 100 is perfect for me. You know, there's definitely a lower optimal manufactural material research point, but I like 100, you know, just feels like 100%. Definitely helps if you want to sell some BPCs to have that, I think. Let's see if I can maybe find a BPC, just a quick feel of what the materials are for this Isogen 588577. Yeah, okay, I'll have to take a look at that. But this is just a personal interest. I would say the Omen is looking pretty good, you know, on a 1-year chart, and I finally have this BPO ready. So I should really look into maybe producing a few of them. At least I should see what my margin is if I decide to buy the minerals and then produce Omens that way. Pretty good, pretty good. Okay, anything else? Maybe a quick look. How long have I been going? Close to half an hour. I can see that normally right there, 23 minutes, okay. No more questions as far as I can see. I'll quickly refresh the reactions. If you have anything, feel free to post it. But if not, I'll continue. I'll pick just a quick look then at Technetium, which is still, my god, cratering, coming from 140 at the beginning of the year. And now, unfortunately, it's below 10% of what it was a year ago. So definitely Technetium, that's cratered, and it's now all in the R64 moons, which Goonswarm has taken by now from Test Alliance. So this used to be Goonswarm Cartel, you know, CFC used to control Technetium market. And they made a lot of ISK because of all these high prices, you know, they could manipulate the market. That's tanked. Now they've moved on to the R64 stuff, and they're controlling that now. So I would say, yeah, CFC is still at the moment the economic powerhouse. You know, it's also what gives them the ability to do these manipulations, such as the Caldari fuel blocks. And the Galente ones have actually moved up a little bit as well in tandem with the Caldari fuel blocks, but it's not as drastic. Which the Caldari ones went as high as 18k. This is still looking probably 15.5, so a little bit of movement there, not as drastic as the Caldari ones. But yeah, currently definitely the CFC is back in control, I would say, after the war. They are the economic powerhouse at the moment. They control the R64 moons. They're gonna start making a lot of money out of those products, where it used to be Technetium. Just look at what's happened to that. Not really a good chart, but yeah, they've moved on to better stuff. So I'll try and put these to the quick bar by next week, you know, the stuff that gets produced for the R64 moons. Which is basically passive income from moon mining that they get for pretty much for free, and so they should be sitting on the best stuff once again. So I'll try and have a look at that for next week. We'll finish off with the Plex here. What's that looking like? 3-month chart could be better for an indication. Actually, trending down a little bit, very slowly, but definitely trending down. Price in stage, well, 546.5. Think that's the same as last week. So I would say we're still waiting for the winter rise to start here at the moment. It's definitely gonna start at a much higher price point than previously. You know, it started below 500 million last year, and then it went way up because of the expansion. I'm expecting something similar to happen here as we start to get more and more information about the expansion. But it's also going to start a lot higher, around 550. So what is the next stop going to be? Will it be above 600? I believe it will. I think it will reach 600 million for sell orders. You know, I think you'll be able to get rid of Plex at 600 million. But yeah, that's it. We'll have to wait when this finally starts. This is a 1-year chart, and as you can see here, it slowly started and then started to pick up pace around October, I would say. So yeah, we have to wait for news about the next expansion. Then we'll start to see Plex going up again. One thing is, you know, you need to try and time and find where the next top is going to be for Plex. Considering where it starts, here it starts below 500, we're already at 550. I would not be surprised to see a top of Plex as high as 650 million by the next winter expansion. Once it's above 600, I'm definitely going to look into unloading the Plex that I have invested in. I bought 7 of them below 500 for a nice profit. But yeah, if you want a chance at some real money, just look at this spike here, which is the winter expansion for Plexes. This happens every year, like clockwork. If CCP brings a good expansion, a successful expansion, the top lasts for a while. If it's not so popular, it goes back down much earlier. But yeah, a trading opportunity is coming. You know, this is definitely my heads up. For the next few months, keep an eye on information for the winter expansion, and then keep an eye on the Plex market, because a lot of money can be made here. I'm expecting Plex to go up, if this is any indication, by almost 100 million ISK by the winter expansion. If you can still buy a few, you're looking at a nice chunk of money, I think, potentially. Keep in mind, this is speculation on my part, but I've been playing E for 3 years, and every year we see this coming back, so I do expect it to happen again this year as well. Anyways, that's going to be it for the market part. If you're not interested in non-ETH related stuff, feel free to stop the video at this point, but two keeping are worth mentioning, and so I do want to quickly mention them here as well during this ETH talk. The first one, EverQuest Next and EverQuest Next Landmark, which the second one is like a Minecraft in the EverQuest Next engine that should be coming out this year. And the concept of the whole game is very interesting to me. In short, you know, what I would personally say, it's got sandboxy elements that will not compete with EVE Online, because it's not like you can lose gear or kill characters. That's still going to be traditional MMO wise, but anything like houses and structures and castles, those will be destructible. So that's a bit more like you could destroy stations in EVE Online. So I think they won't be in direct competition, because their take on the sandbox is a little bit different. But I would say that EverQuest Next is what Elder Scrolls Online should have been. It's going to have a lot of sandboxy elements. It's definitely going to be different than all the classical MMOs we're having at the moment, like Rift, World of Warcraft and all of that stuff. It's definitely going to be a different experience, I think. And if they can make good on their promises for the stuff they're promising to deliver, I think it could be very interesting. And I'm definitely looking into dabbling a little bit into Landmark, just to get a feel of how all of that stuff works. And someone is pinging me on Steam, but he'll have to wait for me to finish the video. Next up, the other game is X Rebirth. That has actually just been announced for November 15th. It's a single player space simulation where you can build your own empire, stations, ships, fleets, all of that stuff. So for November 15th, I'm definitely going to pre-order that and play that when it comes out. It's another one of those games that I'm really excited for. I definitely want to play that game as well. I've played a little bit of X3, I think Turn Conflict is what it was called. I had a lot of fun there, but it looks like they did a lot better with the engine. So anyways, they're pretty insistent on Steam. This is the end of ETH Talk, and I will see you guys next time.